Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel of Indian Astrology. Today we will discuss the 12th house of the horoscope, but before that, we will cover some basic information about the entire horoscope. I will be teaching you in YouTube channel of Indian Astrology from the basics to advanced levels. First, it's important to know that the horoscope has 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs, and 9 planets, but 2 of these planets are considered shadow planets. First, we will learn about the 12 houses of the horoscope and where they are located in the birth chart. First, the first house comes here. Then the second house comes here. After that, the third house comes here. And then the fourth house comes here. Later, the fifth house comes here. Then the sixth house comes here. After that, the seventh house comes here. And then the eighth house comes here. Later, the ninth house comes here. Then the 10th house comes here. After that, the 11th house comes here. And finally, the 12th house comes here. The 12 houses are always fixed. That means the 12 houses never change. Now we will learn about the 12 zodiac signs. The positions of these 12 signs and 9 planets in the 12 houses of the horoscope will be changed depending on the person's date of birth, place of birth, and exact time of birth. Now we know the names of all 12 zodiac signs. And we know the numbers assigned to each of those signs. Aries is number 1. Taurus is number 2. Gemini is number 3. Cancer is number 4. Leo is number 5. Virgo is number 6. Libra is number 7. Scorpio is number 8. Sagittarius is number 9. Capricorn is number 10. Aquarius is number 11. And Pisces is number 12. The names of the 9 planets are Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. Among these, Rahu and Ketu are called shadow planets. The zodiac signs and planets are connected to each other by numbers. This is referred to as the ruling planet of the zodiac sign. Out of the 9 planets, 7 are assigned ownership of the zodiac signs. Rahu and Ketu are not assigned physical signs. The Sun is assigned to only one zodiac sign, which is Leo, and the zodiac sign number for Leo is 5. The Moon is assigned only one zodiac sign, which is Cancer, and the ruling planet number for Cancer is 4. The planet Mars is assigned to 2 zodiac signs, Aries and Scorpio. The zodiac sign number for Aries is 1, and the zodiac sign number for Scorpio is 8. The planet Mercury is assigned to 2 zodiac signs, Gemini and Virgo. The zodiac sign number for Gemini is 3, and the zodiac sign number for Virgo is 6. The planet Jupiter has been assigned 2 zodiac signs, which are Sagittarius and Pisces. The zodiac sign number for Sagittarius is 9 and the zodiac sign number for Pisces is 12. The planet Venus is assigned to 2 zodiac signs, Taurus and Libra. The zodiac sign number for Taurus is 2, and the zodiac sign number for Libra is 7. The planet Saturn is assigned 2 zodiac signs, Capricorn and Aquarius. The zodiac sign number for Capricorn is 10, and the zodiac sign number for Aquarius is 11. Each house, sign, and planet in a horoscope has its own unique characteristics. By studying and combining all these characteristics, we can predict the future of any individual. In today's video, we will study and discuss the 12th house of the horoscope in detail. What is 12th house of horoscope? The 12th house is referred to as the house of loss or expenses. It signifies life's expenditures, sacrifice, spirituality, and matters related to foreign lands. The 12th house is associated with life's expenses, renunciation, foreign lands, and spirituality. Due to the influence of the 12th house, an individual tends to prefer living in solitude. Furthermore, the 12th house establishes connections with places such as ashrams, hospitals, and prisons. Individuals who may appear as friends to one's face but act as adversaries behind one's back are examined through the 12th house. The 12th house also governs the quality of sleep, the influence of dreams, and the potential for spiritual liberation. It reveals those aspects of an individual's life that are hidden, spiritual, or distinct from the material world. The 12th house is also referred to as the house of the inner self. This house encompasses meditation, yoga, spiritual practice, connections with spiritual mentors, and detachment from worldly life. Furthermore, this house signifies the individual's subconscious mind. The 12th house also signifies renunciation and sacrifice. The 12th house is a symbol of secret plans, mysteries, and hidden activities. What are the good and bad effects of all the planets on the 12th house? If the Sun is exalted in the sign of Aries in the 12th house of a birth chart, it forms a special yoga. The 12th house signifies foreign lands. When the Sun is exalted in this house, an individual may secure government employment or a prestigious position abroad, establish connections with foreign companies or international organizations, or have the opportunity to travel overseas or settle in a foreign country. The 12th house is associated with liberation and spirituality. Therefore, an individual may develop an interest in meditation, yoga, and spiritual practices, engage in spiritual leadership or form a deep connection with a guru, and at times, may even harbor a desire to withdraw from the material world. An individual can handle significant responsibilities from behind the scenes. Wealth may be expended on charitable causes, religious pursuits, or major undertakings. While inwardly possessing great self-confidence, the individual may prefer working alone rather than amidst a crowd. If the Sun is debilitated in its sign of debility in the 12th house within the sign of Libra in an individual's birth chart, it can exert mixed effects upon the native. The Sun is the significator of self-confidence, prestige, and the ego. When it is debilitated in Libra, the native's self-confidence may occasionally waver, establishing a distinct identity may take time, and the individual tends to be overly influenced by the opinions of others. Since the Sun is also the significator of the father, it may lead to physical distance from the father, limited time spent together, or differences in opinion with him. Occasionally, the native's father may even reside abroad. The 12th house is the house of expenses and expenditure. Therefore, Money may be spent quickly, specifically on luxury items or things that provide comfort. If the moon is situated in the 12th house of a birth chart, it is considered exalted in the sign of Taurus. Consequently, its positive energies can be quite potent, even despite its placement in the 12th house. Such an individual possesses a mind that is deeply sensitive and profound. The person's intuition is strong, enabling them to easily perceive the emotions of others. However, they may occasionally exhibit a tendency toward overthinking. The 12th house is the house of spirituality and liberation, moksha. With an exalted moon in this house, the native develops an interest in meditation, yoga, and spirituality. They prefer spending time alone and harbor a desire to comprehend the deeper meaning of life. Since the moon is in Taurus, a sign associated with comfort and pleasure, expenses may be incurred on fine food, beautiful objects, and a comfortable lifestyle. If the moon is debilitated in the 12th house within the sign of Scorpio in a birth chart, then, according to astrology, its impact is primarily observed in the realms of emotions, mental state, expenditure, and a solitary lifestyle. In this placement, an individual's temperament may be somewhat fragile or unstable. The individual may experience deep emotions and heightened sensitivity. At times, they may harbor underlying anxiety or fear. They may tend to conceal their feelings, and their moods may be subject to rapid fluctuations. Furthermore, due to the influence of the 12th house, the individual may frequently engage in excessive introspection or overthinking. Since the 12th house is the house of solitude, the individual may prefer living alone or spending time in quiet, secluded environments. Additionally, the individual's finances may be subject to sudden or unexpected expenditure. If Mars is exalted in Capricorn within the 12th house of an individual's birth chart, this placement is considered highly powerful in astrology. When Mars is exalted in Capricorn in this position, the individual may secure employment or establish a business abroad, obtain work opportunities from foreign companies, or derive benefits from international travel. Mars is the planet of energy and courage. With this placement, the individual tends to possess a highly strategic mindset, operates in a discreet manner, and demonstrates great resilience in the face of difficult circumstances. Such individuals often excel in fields such as research, intelligence, the military, security, or technical domains. Since the 12th house governs expenditure, funds may be utilized for work-related endeavors, specific projects, or travel. The individual does not hesitate to invest money in pursuit of ambitious goals, though occasional sudden or unexpected expenses may also arise. Furthermore, such individuals often tend to suppress their anger internally. While appearing calm on the surface, they possess immense inner strength. If Mars is debilitated in the sign of Cancer within the 12th house of a birth chart, it is considered a weak placement for Mars in astrology. The individual may, at times, be highly emotionally sensitive. There may be a tendency to suppress anger internally rather than expressing it outwardly. The individual may occasionally experience confusion or indecision when making choices. Sudden or unplanned expenses may increase for the individual. There is a possibility of financial loss resulting from poor investment choices or hasty financial decisions. The individual's funds may frequently be spent on foreign travel or personal necessities. The native may occasionally encounter hidden enemies or face covert competition in life. At the workplace, certain individuals may oppose the native from behind the scenes. Furthermore, a failure to channel one's energy effectively may lead to increased fatigue or irritability. If Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo within the 12th house of a birth chart, its influence is considered to be somewhat mixed yet profound. Since Mercury is exceptionally strong in Virgo, it endows the individual with a highly analytical and intelligent nature. Such individuals possess deep contemplative abilities and a strong aptitude for research. The native has a natural inclination to examine matters with meticulous attention to detail. Furthermore, the individual possesses the capacity to decipher mysteries or uncover hidden truths. Consequently, such people often excel in fields such as research, data analysis, science, or analytics. Mercury is the planet governing communication and writing. Through this planetary combination, the individual has the potential to become an accomplished writer, analyst, programmer, or researcher, and may achieve success in fields involving confidential information or intensive research. If Mercury is debilitated in its sign of debility in Pisces within the 12th house of a birth chart, the individual may experience confusion when making decisions. They tend to think with their emotions rather than logic and may occasionally make misjudgments. However, this placement can also render the individual highly imaginative and creative. At times, the individual may struggle to articulate their thoughts clearly. They may harbor misunderstandings regarding others or experience communication gaps, often keeping their inner thoughts and feelings to themselves. A debilitated Mercury in Pisces situated in the 12th house can make an individual imaginative, introspective, and spiritually inclined, though it may also occasionally give rise to confusion and communication-related difficulties. If Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer within the 12th house of a birth chart, it is considered a highly auspicious and spiritual combination in Vedic astrology. Since both the 12th house and Jupiter are associated with spirituality and wisdom, the implications of this placement can be profound. The 12th house is the house of moksha, liberation, and spirituality. The presence of an exalted Jupiter in this house may instill in the individual a deep interest in dharma, righteousness, meditation, yoga, and spiritual knowledge. Such individuals often seek inner peace and a deeper meaning in life. Furthermore, the 12th house signifies foreign lands and distant places. Therefore, the presence of an exalted Jupiter here may bring benefits to the individual through education abroad, employment overseas, or assistance received from foreigners. Jupiter is the planet of compassion and wisdom. Consequently, such individuals are often inclined toward acts of charity and philanthropy, helping others, and actively participating in religious and spiritual endeavors. Such individuals may possess strong intuitive abilities. At times, they may even receive guidance through dreams or signs. The individual may occasionally tend to be overly idealistic. They may experience difficulty in saving money, as their expenses are likely to be high. If Jupiter is positioned in the 12th house of a birth chart, situated in the sign of Capricorn and in a debilitated state, the native tends to incur uncontrolled financial expenditure. The individual may invest or donate funds in inappropriate avenues, spend excessive amounts on others, or incur expenses related to foreign travel. The individual's life may be marked by spiritual confusion or a lack of proper spiritual guidance. Their religious inclination may fluctuate, at times being strong, and at other times being completely absent. There is a likelihood of receiving misguided counsel. The individual may face interruptions in their studies or undergo a change in academic direction. While there may be delays in their education, they are likely to acquire knowledge later through practical experience. The individual may occasionally experience feelings of loneliness. They tend to overthink and find solace in solitude. If Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces within the 12th house of a birth chart, it is generally considered, according to astrology, to be a favorable and powerful planetary combination yoga. The 12th house governs expenses, while Venus is the planet of comfort, luxury, and beauty. Consequently, the individual tends to spend on luxury items. They possess a keen interest in beautiful homes, art, fashion, and interior decoration, and they prefer to maintain a high standard of living. However, precisely because Venus is exalted, such expenditure can also yield a sense of joy and fulfillment. The sign of Pisces is regarded as highly spiritual and emotional. As a result, the individual develops an interest in meditation and spirituality. They harbor a compassionate and service-oriented attitude toward others, and may find avenues for spiritual expression through the medium of art. Since Venus is the planet of art, music, and aesthetics, the individual may pursue a career in fields such as music, painting, design, film, fashion, or the creative industries. Furthermore, the individual is likely to possess an imaginative and romantic temperament. If Venus is debilitated in the 12th house in the sign of Virgo within a birth chart, the individual may experience misunderstandings or emotional distance in their romantic relationships. Furthermore, there may be a sense of sacrifice or unrequited love within these connections. Occasionally, this placement may also give rise to clandestine affairs or hidden attractions. Venus is the planet of the arts. At times, this planetary combination fosters an interest in music, fashion, design, cinema, or the arts, imparting creativity, yet the individual may struggle to channel this creative energy in the right direction. The 12th house is intrinsically linked to spirituality. The individual demonstrates a spirit of self-sacrifice and service. Consequently, they are inclined to perceive love in a more emotional or spiritual light, rather than merely in its material aspect. If Saturn is exalted in the 12th house in the sign of Libra within a birth chart, it is regarded in astrology as a potent yet deeply karmic planetary combination. Since Saturn attains its exaltation in Libra, its effects often manifest in the form of discipline, patience, and the fruition of karmic deeds. The 12th house is associated with foreign lands and distant places. Consequently, The presence of an exalted Saturn in this house creates possibilities for employment or business opportunities abroad, potential for long-term residence in foreign countries, and associations with international organizations. Frequently, the individual achieves success by venturing away from their native land. As the 12th house governs expenditure and Saturn is the planet of discipline, this placement encourages the individual to spend judiciously, focus on long-term investments, and exercise prudence in financial matters. However, during the early stages of life, one may occasionally encounter periods of financial strain. If Saturn is debilitated in the 12th house in the sign of Aries within a birth chart, specific results may be observed according to Vedic astrology. Since Saturn is considered debilitated in Aries, its energy may manifest in an unbalanced or challenging manner. The 12th house governs expenses. The presence of a debilitated Saturn in this house leads to sudden or uncontrolled expenditure, making it difficult to save money. The native may experience prolonged financial pressure. A debilitated Saturn can cause an individual to feel a sense of inner loneliness or mental strain. The native tends to have a habit of overthinking. Such an individual prefers working alone and may, at times, feel a sense of social detachment. If Rahu is exalted in the sign of Taurus within the 12th house of a birth chart, the native's likelihood of traveling abroad or settling in a foreign land increases significantly. The individual derives benefits from foreign companies or foreign nationals. They earn money through international trade or online work. Many astrologers believe that such a planetary combination can bring success to the individual through foreign connections or foreign lands. The 12th house governs expenditure, while Rahu amplifies material desires. Consequently, the native tends to spend on luxury items. The individual may experience sudden, substantial expenses. At times, they may engage in covert investments or invest in foreign ventures. If the horoscope receives support from benefic planets, funds flowing in from foreign sources may subsequently be channeled back into investments. The placement of Rahu in the 12th house can endow the native with a vivid imagination and foster, out-of-the-box, thinking. It may also cultivate an interest in research, technology, psychology, or esoteric subjects. While Rahu typically signifies materialism, its placement in the 12th house can trigger sudden spiritual experiences. The individual may develop an interest in Tantra mantra, esoteric rituals, mysteries, meditation, and similar disciplines. If Rahu is positioned in the 12th house within the sign of Scorpio in a birth chart, it is considered to be in a debilitated state according to Vedic astrology. The native may experience an increase in hidden fears or anxieties. Furthermore, they may develop a deep contemplative nature and a keen interest in mysterious matters. At times, the native may suffer from overthinking or restlessness. The native's sudden or unplanned expenses may rise. Their money tends to be spent on items or pursuits that are not strictly essential. Occasionally, the native may also incur secret expenses. Since Scorpio is a sign associated with mystery and depth, the individual may develop an interest in fields such as astrology, Tantra mantra, esoteric practices, psychology, research, or other mysterious subjects. If Ketu is positioned in an exalted state within the 12th house in the sign of Scorpio in a birth chart, it is considered a deeply spiritual and mystical planetary combination yoga. This influence can impact an individual's psyche, spirituality, expenditures, and latent powers. The 12th house is the domain of moksha, liberation, and spirituality, while Ketu itself is regarded as the planet of detachment and spiritual pursuits. Consequently, the native may develop a keen interest in meditation, yoga, and spiritual practices. They may be drawn to mysticism, tantra, and esoteric rituals, and may harbor a deep desire to comprehend the profound meaning of life. The sign of Scorpio is considered inherently deep and enigmatic. As a result, the individual may possess highly acute intuition, the ability to quickly discern the emotions or intentions of others, and a talent for recognizing hidden or concealed matters. When situated in the 12th house in Scorpio, Ketu can render the individual deeply spiritual, mystical, intuitive, and, at times, inclined toward solitude. If Ketu is positioned in the 12th house in the sign of Taurus within a birth chart and is considered to be debilitated, then, since the 12th house governs expenditure, this may lead to sudden or uncontrolled spending, unwise investments, or money becoming stuck. At times, expenses may be incurred in connection with foreign travel or spiritual pursuits. This is because Taurus is a sign associated with material comforts and stability. When Ketu occupies this sign, the individual may experience diminished satisfaction regarding material possessions. Furthermore, this placement may occasionally result in distance or estrangement within the native's relationships. How will each zodiac sign affect the 12th house? If the sign of Aries occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it signifies that the energy and nature of Aries will exert an influence on the individual's expenditures, foreign connections, subconscious mind, and spirituality. Since Mars is the ruling planet of Aries, its influence on the resulting effects is also of significant importance. The 12th house governs expenditures, while Aries is a sign characterized by energy and impulsiveness. Consequently, the individual may tend to spend frequently and impulsively, make sudden decisions regarding financial outlays, and occasionally spend on high-risk ventures. Furthermore, if Mars is strongly placed in the chart, these expenses may be directed toward work, business, or specific projects. Aries is a fire sign. As a result, its influence may manifest as heightened energy and restlessness within the mind. The native may, at times, harbor suppressed anger deep within their psyche. If the sign of Taurus appears in the 12th house of a birth chart, it signifies that the aspects of life associated with the 12th house will be influenced by the nature of Taurus. The 12th house is primarily linked to expenses, foreign lands, solitude, the subconscious mind, and spirituality. Conversely, Taurus is regarded as a sign of stability, material comforts, wealth, and ease, ruled by the planet Venus. When Taurus occupies the 12th house, an individual's expenditure often centers on comfort and luxury items such as fine dining, clothing, home decor, beauty products, or art, meaning that spending tends to be directed predominantly toward amenities and creature comforts. In this placement, the individual may encounter opportunities for foreign travel or possess the potential to work abroad. They may also establish connections with foreign companies or individuals. Furthermore, the person may, at times, attain financial stability while residing in a foreign land. If the sign of Gemini occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it signifies that the qualities of Gemini will exert their influence upon the individual's expenditures, subconscious mind, foreign affairs, and solitary life. Since Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini, it plays a significant role in shaping the resulting outcomes. As Gemini is an intellectual and communicative sign, the native's mind is constantly abuzz with thoughts and ideas. Consequently, the individual tends to have a habit of overthinking. This influence also manifests as a heightened level of activity involving the flow of information and ideas within the realm of dreams and the subconscious mind. Due to the influence of Gemini, the individual is often inclined to spend money on education and books, technology or gadgets, travel, and communication-related activities. Such individuals often prefer to engage in reading, writing, or contemplative work in solitude. For instance, they may pursue professions such as that of an author, researcher, programmer, or analyst. If the sign of Cancer occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it signifies that the qualities of Cancer will exert their influence upon the individual's life regarding expenses, the subconscious mind, foreign lands, solitude, and spirituality. Since the Moon is the ruling planet of Cancer, this placement establishes a deep connection between emotions, sensitivity, and the inner mental realm on one hand, and the 12th house on the other. Cancer is a highly emotional sign. Consequently, the individual may be deeply sensitive internally and tends to have a habit of engaging in excessive introspection when alone. The native possesses a vivid dream life and a strong imagination. At times, feelings of emotional insecurity may arise. The 12th house governs expenses. Under the influence of Cancer, there may be increased expenditure related to family or the home. The native may develop a tendency to spend money impulsively, driven by their emotions. Occasionally, the individual may also utilize their funds to assist others. If the sign of Leo occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, the attributes of Leo influence the matters governed by the 12th house, such as expenditure, foreign travel, spirituality, solitude, and so forth. Leo is a fiery, self-assured, and leadership-oriented sign, ruled by the Sun. The 12th house governs expenditure, while Leo is associated with grandeur and splendor. Consequently, the individual may incur expenses related to prestige or social status. The native may find it necessary to spend money on significant undertakings or to establish a reputation within society. At times, expenses may be incurred on luxuries or for the sake of ostentation. Leo is a sign of leadership. In this placement, the individual may assume a leadership role in a foreign land, orchestrate major initiatives from behind the scenes, or become affiliated with large institutions or international organizations. If the sign of Virgo occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it implies that the attributes of Virgo will exert their influence upon the matters governed by the 12th house, such as expenditure, foreign lands, solitude, spirituality, and the subconscious mind. The 12th house governs expenditure, while Virgo is characterized by being organized and analytical. Consequently, the individual tends to plan their spending and strives to avoid unnecessary expenses. Money may be spent on matters related to health, education, or work. However, there may also be instances where excessive spending occurs on trivial details. Since Virgo is a highly analytical sign, the individual may possess a tendency toward excessive thinking or worrying. They attempt to understand every aspect of life in great depth, which can, at times, lead to overthinking. If the sign of Libra appears in the 12th house of a birth chart, two factors must be examined to understand its influence: the 12th house, which governs expenditure, foreign lands, spirituality, and solitude, and the nature of Libra, which embodies balance, relationships, beauty, and the arts. Since Venus is the ruling planet of Libra, the attributes of Venus are also manifested within the 12th house. The 12th house signifies expenditure, while Libra is associated with beauty and pleasure. Consequently, expenses may be incurred on beautiful objects, clothing, art, or luxury items. The individual may spend money on relationships or for their partner, and they will likely enjoy spending on a comfortable lifestyle. If Venus is strong, such expenditure tends to be balanced and prudent. Libra is the sign of relationships and marriage. When positioned in the 12th house, romantic relationships may be secretive or private. The partner may hail from a foreign land, and, at times, relationships may involve physical distance or a sense of sacrifice. If the sign of Scorpio occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, the results will manifest as a blend of the combined attributes of both the house and the sign. The 12th house is associated with expenditure, foreign lands, solitude, the subconscious mind, and spirituality, whereas Scorpio is regarded as the sign of depth, mystery, transformation, and intense emotions. Scorpio is an inherently deep and enigmatic sign. Consequently, the individual may possess a profound and contemplative nature, often harboring numerous thoughts and matters within their mind. They may also possess an innate ability to understand the minds of others. Scorpio is closely linked to mysteries and esoteric knowledge. Thus, such an individual may develop a keen interest in fields such as astrology, occult practices, tantra mantra, psychology, or deep spiritual pursuits. The 12th house governs hidden matters. In this placement, the individual may face covert adversaries. Conversely, the individual themselves may possess a highly private and secretive disposition. Due to the influence of Scorpio, sudden or unexpected expenses may occasionally arise, specifically involving hidden activities, research, medical treatments, or in-depth studies. If the sign of Sagittarius occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it signifies that the qualities of Sagittarius will exert their influence upon matters related to the individual's expenses, spirituality, foreign affairs, and the subconscious mind. Sagittarius is regarded as a religious and philosophical sign. The individual may possess a keen interest in religion, philosophy, and spirituality, and may demonstrate an inclination toward meditation, yoga, or pilgrimages. Such a person harbors a desire to comprehend the deeper meaning of life. Sagittarius is considered to be a generous and charitable sign. Consequently, the individual may spend money on acts of charity or religious endeavors, as well as on education, travel, or the pursuit of knowledge. Sagittarius cherishes independence. In this astrological placement, the individual may prefer traveling alone and may, at times, cultivate a habit of spending time in solitude for contemplation. If the sign of Capricorn occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it implies that the qualities of Capricorn will influence the matters governed by the 12th house, such as expenditure, foreign lands, solitude, and spirituality. Since Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, the nature of Saturn also becomes a significant factor in this placement. Capricorn is a practical and disciplined sign. Consequently, the individual spends thoughtfully and strives to minimize unnecessary expenditure. They spend money gradually and in a planned manner. Capricorn bestows a serious and responsible temperament. Therefore, the individual feels comfortable working independently. They may engage in research, back-end operations, or work behind the scenes. They prefer a quiet and private lifestyle. The 12th house is associated with foreign lands, and Capricorn is a career-oriented sign. Therefore, there is a likelihood that the individual may secure employment abroad, establish connections with a multinational corporation, or be required to work in a foreign country for an extended period. If the sign of Aquarius occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it influences the individual's spheres of expenditure, the subconscious mind, foreign lands, solitude, and spirituality with the distinct qualities of Aquarius. Since Saturn is considered the ruling planet of Aquarius, its characteristics are also reflected in the resulting outcomes. The 12th house is associated with expenditure, while Aquarius is linked to social and humanitarian ideals. Consequently, the individual may incur expenses related to social service, charity, or community-oriented activities. Alternatively, they may invest funds in endeavors involving technology, research, or novel concepts. At times, the individual may engage in sudden or erratic spending. Aquarius is characterized by an intellectual and unconventional mindset. Therefore, the individual may find comfort in solitary contemplation or work, and typically demonstrates a keen interest in new ideas, research, or innovation. The individual may possess a perspective that is somewhat distinct from others, or exhibit an independent way of thinking. If the sign of Pisces occupies the 12th house in a birth chart, it signifies that the individual's expenditures, spirituality, subconscious mind, and matters related to foreign lands will be influenced by the characteristics of Pisces. Since Jupiter is considered the ruling planet of Pisces, its influence is often spiritual and emotional in nature. Pisces is inherently spiritual and sensitive. The native takes an interest in meditation, yoga, and spiritual practices. They feel drawn toward mystical or spiritual subjects and possess a strong inclination to help others. The 12th house is associated with the subconscious mind in dreams. Due to the presence of Pisces, the native possesses a profound imagination and experiences vivid dreams or spiritual phenomena. They also demonstrate an interest in art, music, or creative pursuits. Furthermore, as the 12th house governs expenditures, its occupation by Pisces suggests that the native spends on charity and philanthropy, investing money to assist the needy. Occasionally, the native may also incur excessive expenses driven by emotional factors. What are the results if the Lord of the 12th house is strong? The 12th house is associated with expenditure. If its Lord is strong, the individual spends money wisely, investing it in charity, religious pursuits, or virtuous deeds, and is less prone to wasteful or uncontrolled spending. A strong Lord of the 12th house often presents opportunities for foreign travel. The individual may secure employment or establish a business abroad, and can derive benefits from foreign companies or individuals. The 12th house is regarded as the house of moksha, liberation, and spirituality. If its Lord is strong, the native develops an interest in meditation, yoga, and spiritual practices. They seek spiritual knowledge and possess the capacity to comprehend the deeper meaning of life. Such individuals often possess profound depth of thought, strong intuition, and the ability to maintain inner equilibrium even during times of solitude. The 12th house is also linked to hidden activities and research. Consequently, the individual may find success or benefit in fields such as research, psychology, spiritual studies, and esoteric subjects. A strong Lord of the 12th house fortifies the individual from within, endowing them with the strength to exercise patience during challenging times. What are the results if the Lord of the 12th house is weak? In astrology, if the ruling planet of the 12th house, the house of expenditure, is weak, its effects may manifest in various areas of life. The 12th house is associated with expenses, losses, foreign lands, solitude, sleep, and spirituality. When the ruler of the 12th house is weak, the native's money may be spent on inappropriate things. Sudden expenses may increase. Losses in investments may occur, and managing or saving money may become difficult. The 12th house is linked to the subconscious mind. Therefore, a weak 12th house can lead to excessive anxiety or stress. The native may experience feelings of loneliness and suffer from mental restlessness. The 12th house also signifies sleep and dreams. Consequently, the native may encounter issues such as insufficient sleep, restless sleep, or strange and frightening dreams. The 12th house also indicates hidden enemies. Therefore, if the Lord of the 12th house is weak, the native may face opposition from people working against them behind their back, and obstacles may arise in their work. The 12th house is associated with foreign lands. Thus, if the Lord of the 12th house is weak, there may be delays in traveling abroad, and the native may experience struggles while living in a foreign country. The 12th house also governs moksha, liberation, and spirituality. Therefore, if this house is weak, the native's interest in spirituality may be diminished or inconsistent, and they may lack concentration during meditation.